Input functions. There is one input function that you can use to ask a question to a user and get user's input, and that function is simply input. With input, you can get a response from a user, you can get a number, a single scalar value, you can get a vector, you can get a matrix, and you can also get a string, that is a character, or a series of characters. If you have to get a number, then you can just use input command and whatever text you want to display to the user. Make sure your text should be as clear as possible so user can give you the desired input in the desired format. So if you want to ask user to enter a column vector, let's say, make sure ask in the text that input a column vector of this dimension. Likewise, if user can enter a column vector, a scalar, a matrix, whatever, then you don't really have to mention. If you want to mention, you can, but then you can just say enter whatever so and so value. If you want user to enter a string characters, then of course the command is same, but you can use a comma after you ask user a question. You can use a comma and then put S in apostrophe. Some examples are given here. You can see number, I'm asking user to enter number, I'm asking user to enter a string. So this is given here. Look, check it out. Check out example number 6. You're solving this equation and you're asking user to give the value of x for which the equation is solved. So you're gonna use the input command, ask user. Again, be precise what you wanna ask user. In this specific example, x can be any type of number, that is it can be a scalar value, single value, it can be a vector, it can be a matrix, and I want to solve this for any type of input, and that's why I'm using, observe, I'm using periods for array-wise operation, so it can solve for any type of data, either vector, either matrix, or a scalar value. So do this exercise. Again, it is given here, do it. Exercise number 6 is I think the first exercise that you are required to do for the next homework, and you are going to ask user to enter coefficient of quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c, and then you are going to calculate the two roots of the quadratic equation. Now make sure you ask user to enter a, b, c as a vector. Don't ask user to enter a first and then ask again to enter b and then enter c. Ask user to enter a, b, and c as a vector, and then separate those things in your program like I did over here. X is equal to x of 1, y is equal to x of 2. Same way you can ask user to enter a, b, c as a vector, like anywhere over here I'm entering a vector 1, 2, 5, and then you can separate in your program as, for example, if your input variable is x, then you can do a is equal to x of 1, b is equal to x of 2, c is equal to x of 3, and then write down the two equations for the two roots of the quadratic equation. And a very simple, straightforward exercise. In exercise 7, actually exercise 7 is the same exercise as what we did over here, that is solution of simultaneous linear equation, but in this one there were only two simultaneous linear equation in exercise 5. In exercise 7, I'm asking you that user can enter any number of simultaneous linear equations, and you have to solve for them. You're gonna ask user the same thing. You're gonna ask user, first question, input, enter the coefficient matrix of the simultaneous linear equations. Coefficient matrix is basically this: a11, a12, a13, a1n. So if it's a 3 variable simultaneous linear equation set, x, y, and z, let's say, then user is going to enter a 3 by 3 matrix. If user is solving for 4 simultaneous linear equation, then he's going to enter 4 by 4 matrix. The coefficient matrix is always a square matrix, that is number of columns and number of rows are same. Alright, and then you can ask user the next question, enter the constant vector from the simultaneous linear equation, and that constant vector is a column vector. So either ask user to enter a column vector or ask user to enter a row vector, and then you can change the row vector into a column by the use of apostrophe. But make sure be clear as what how you want user to enter the vector. And once you have that, all you have to do is just to use this inverse of A times K. That's all, and then it's going to produce a result. You don't have to separate the result out because again you don't really know how many, you know how many variables you're solving for based on the input, and you can separate it as well, but there is no need to do that. All you have to do is this: x is equal to inverse of A times K, and x will contain all the values of the variables that are unknown. That's all you have to do in this exercise.